this is my expertise and bread and butter, but I wanted to get your high level thoughts considering all these types of players. Again, the SDR, the recruiter, the hiring manager, and then the executive that could influence, that's especially the sales one. Any just high level thoughts on approaching this networking dance and like the best place to start, or any tips?
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a job, the smartest thing to do is to get around people who work for the companies that you want to be in. Because yeah, they might get an incentive for referring you. And we all know that $3,000 or additional equity, awesome. But they might not every company gives that. But I will tell you, if you work for a company, you probably subscribe to the no asshole rule, which means you don't want assholes to work with you. So if you meet someone who's cool, who's looking for a job, and you know the company's looking to hire and you think they're nice, you have a reason why you want to bring that nice person to that hiring manager or to HR to get in. So the first thing is that network with people who work inside the company, regardless of their job, and ask, again, those open-ended questions. Don't be there talking about yourself. I mean, eventually, if you ask a lot of questions about somebody, they're going to say, well, tell me about you. And you can say, oh, I'm trying to get into a role like this at a company like yours, and then they'll be like, why? And then you have a chance to talk about yourself. But if you just show up and participate with them and share in the experience of being human beings at, whatever type of event you're at, then you're going to stand out from the other people, because a lot of people are just cold sending resumes. So if someone walks your resume in, I can promise you that anyone in the company who walks into their boss or their boss's boss or somebody in a different department and says, I met Chris at the Austin Technology Council. This guy would be perfect. You guys should move him to the top of the list. Any smart manager is going to say yes. Now, there are asshole managers out there who'll be like, we didn't find him. We have a process. They have to go through Indeed, whatever. Great. Yeah. That's fine. But most companies are made up of humans, and humans don't live in a black and white, you have to go through an Indeed, process. Humans live in a world where, is she that cool? Well, we should look at her, because humans want cool humans around them. So if you go out and you're an interesting person who is interested, then someone might walk your thing, and that's the way you're going to find the job. And here's the thing. You can look great on paper and someone else can get the job, because people make decisions with their gut. So it doesn't matter what the job requirements said. I was one time mentoring someone and they found their dream job, but the dream job description said bachelor's degree required, master's degree preferred. Well, this person had dropped out of college, but had that same job at a competitor for 5 years. And I said, I think the fact you've done the job for 5 years covers the bachelor's degree. And they said, no, right here it says 5 years bachelor's degree required. Well, it's true. If you just submit through the hiring channels, you're going to get bounced because you don't have that. But if a person who knows the competitor and realizes that you worked there for 5 years and you're good, they don't want you at the competitor if you're good. They want you inside. They'll circumvent the system, bring you in, then someone brings you in and talks to you in person. So I have a friend who is the chief revenue officer of a big company, and he used to run a division of an even bigger company. And there was a person he wanted to hire as a salesperson who worked for the competitor, but the guy didn't go to college. And his whole team said, well, you can't hire him. We have a rule in this company. We don't hire anybody without a college degree. Now, this was 25 years ago. The world has changed. A lot of companies are a little more flexible now. But my friend wanted to hire this person. So he met the person and he said, why didn't you go to college? And the person says, well, I was recruited by the FBI to be a coder when I was 17 years old, and I spent 10 years writing code for the FBI. And he was like, all these really smart people out of top colleges who just said, we don't hire anybody without a college degree. Nobody was recruiting them to be a coder at 17 years old. So he went back to the group of people and he said, how many of you were recruited by the FBI to be a coder when you were 17? And they're like, well, nobody. And he goes, yeah, we're not taking this guy because he chose not to go to college. And everybody was like, oh, well, but still. And then one person made an argument. There's more to college than just the degree. It's the socialization. It's the events that you have. So my friend, who was the sales manager, set up an appointment. And this person lived in Arizona near Arizona State. So he set up an appointment at a college bar across the street in Tempe from Arizona State. And this guy shows up and he's like, why are we meeting here? Right? 35-year-old guy talking to a 45-year-old guy. So why are we meeting here? And he goes, I just want to be able to go back to my coworkers and say, you've been to a college bar. And he went back and he said, okay, you guys argued socialization. Would you say part of that is going to bars and things like that? And everybody was like, well, yeah. And he goes, great. I just met with this guy at the college bar. He's been to a college bar. Now let's talk about how he helps our bottom line. And they ended up hiring him, and the guy was a kick-ass salesperson. However, the company had a rule, nobody without a college degree. It got circumvented because somebody asked him a question. Why didn't you go to college? Well, it wasn't because he was a screw up. It's because he was above everybody else and got like a job of a lifetime at 17. So we have to remember that humans are making the decision, and that can go both ways. Humans can be stupid as shit, or they can be creative and gray area'd out where we're going to find a way to make this work if you're the right person. So if you're networking and you're a good person, you've got a good story and people find you interesting, you can get hired for a job you don't qualify for on paper. If we're just going through the system, the algorithms and the HR department are going to kick you out. That's why the people workaround is so important.
Here's the great news, guys. In my mind, the resume and what you look like on paper is the least important thing when it comes to success in tech sales. It's your character, your grit, your passion, your persistence, your ability to be proactive.
But you've got to get the interview.
And
they'll kick you out. If your resume doesn't meet the things, they'll kick you out of the process. That's why your network and somebody leading you in makes a huge difference.
And that's what I'm about to say, Thom. You're actually absolutely right. This is what it takes to succeed. These qualities, these intangibles, proactiveness, courage, persistence, coachability. And by networking, you can actually show your real world resume, show it in action. You could step outside the processes that are the norm and actually make your luck and make it happen. So